Have you ever wondered what it really takes to make a man miss you? Not just a fleeting thought during his day, but a deep, gut-wrenching yearning that makes your absence feel almost unbearable. Here's the thing, most people get it wrong. They assume it's about playing hard to get, ignoring calls, or creating unnecessary drama. But that's not it at all. What if I told you that the secret lies in something far more profound? Something rooted in emotional psychology, subtle disruptions, and yes, even ancient wisdom like Dark Stoic Psychology. It's not about manipulation or games. It's about mastering the art of connection, making your presence so powerful that your absence becomes impossible to ignore. Think about it. What makes someone unforgettable? It's not their looks or the gifts they buy. It's how they make you feel. And when a man starts to realize that your presence brought something to his life that no one else can replicate, that's when he truly starts to miss you. Today we're diving deep into stoicism, relationships, and emotional connections, unraveling 10 moments when a man begins to miss you the most. These aren't generic tips, they're psychological triggers backed by timeless wisdom. Each one is designed to help you understand his emotions on a deeper level and create a lasting impact. Are you ready to uncover these powerful insights and change the way you approach relationships forever? Let's begin. 1. Faces emotional challenges alone. Picture this. He's sitting in his apartment, the glow of his computer screen reflecting on his face. Life is throwing its usual punches, work stress, financial worries, or maybe just the overwhelming weight of a bad day. And in that quiet, vulnerable moment, he feels the absence of your emotional support like a sharp ache in his chest. This is when he starts to miss you. Not because you were always there to fix his problems, but because you were the person who understood. You had a way of making him feel seen without him having to spell it out. A way of offering comfort without smothering him. A way of balancing strength and softness that made him believe he could conquer anything, as long as you were in his corner. But here's the twist. Men aren't always good at admitting they need emotional support. Society teaches them to man up, to deal with problems silently. So when you provided that rare sanctuary where he could let his guard down, it wasn't just appreciated, it was irreplaceable. Now, without you, the absence is deafening. When he faces these emotional storms alone, your presence becomes the calm he longs for. He remembers how you would listen, not just to his words but to the emotions underneath. How you never rushed to offer solutions but gave him the space to work through things at his own pace. And how your steady confidence in him reminded him to believe in himself. This is where Dark Stoic Psychology comes into play. Stoicism teaches us that life's challenges are inevitable, but how we face them defines us. When you embodied this philosophy, calm under pressure, supportive without attachment, you became a beacon of strength. In your absence, he begins to understand the full weight of what you brought to his life. Imagine him scrolling through his phone, tempted to reach out, but pride holds him back. He replays memories in his mind. The late-night conversations where you helped him see a path forward, the moments when your quiet presence was enough to make everything feel lighter. These memories don't just resurface, they haunt him, because now he has to face the storm alone. And here's the kicker. He doesn't just miss you. He misses the version of himself that you brought out, the man who felt capable, supported, and understood. Your presence wasn't just about comfort, it was about transformation. So, what's the takeaway? When you're in his life, focus on being a steady, empathetic force. Let him feel your emotional strength and your ability to hold space for his vulnerability. And when you're absent, don't chase him. Let the contrast of life without you create its own gravity. Because the truth is, men don't miss perfection, they miss authenticity. And when you've been authentically present in their lives, your absence speaks louder than words. Now, can you feel the power in this realization? This is just the beginning of uncovering what truly makes a man miss you. Stay with me as we unravel even more transformative moments that will leave him longing for your presence. 2. Observes happy couples around him. Imagine this. He's walking through the park, the crisp air filling his lungs, and he spots a couple sitting on a bench, lost in laughter. They're not doing anything extraordinary, just sharing a joke, a quiet intimacy that speaks louder than words. And in that moment, something shifts in him. A memory surfaces, vivid and unrelenting. It's you. The way you used to laugh at his silly jokes, the warmth in your eyes that made him feel like the only man in the world. This is when he starts to miss you, when the world around him becomes a mirror, reflecting the bond you once shared. He notices the way the couple's hands brush together, how they lean into each other without a second thought. It's not envy he feels, but a deep ache, a longing for the connection he took for granted, the kind of connection he once had with you. Here's the truth. Men aren't always introspective until life places a glaring contrast before them. That couple laughing, it's not about them. It's about what they represent, the effortless closeness that he now realizes was rare, precious, and irreplaceable. What's fascinating is how Stoicism explains this phenomenon. In Stoic philosophy, external observations often act as triggers for internal reflection. When he sees happiness in others, it forces him to confront what he's lost. The laughter of strangers becomes a soundtrack to his own silence, and the comparison is unavoidable. But let's take this a step further. This isn't just about nostalgia, it's about realization. He begins to notice what made your connection unique. Maybe it was the way you always knew how to ease his tension with a gentle touch, or the way you could turn mundane moments into something magical. Whatever it was, the contrast between his solitary life now and the vibrant partnership you offered is stark. Now, here's where the power lies. You don't have to do a thing. Let his surroundings remind him of you. Let the memories surface naturally, triggered by life itself. The more he sees couples sharing what he once had with you, the more he'll feel the weight of your absence. And don't think for a second that this realization happens all at once. It's cumulative. Maybe he's at a coffee shop the next day and overhears a couple debating where to travel next. He remembers your adventurous spirit, the way you used to plan trips together, dreaming of places you both wanted to explore. Or perhaps he's scrolling through social media and sees a picture of a couple celebrating an anniversary. He's reminded of your thoughtfulness, the little ways you made him feel special without needing a grand occasion. This is the essence of Dark Stoic Psychology, allowing life itself to do the work for you. You don't need to chase him or remind him of what you had. The world will naturally weave those reminders into his daily experiences, making your absence feel more significant with each passing day. But here's the kicker. It's not about regret. It's about value. He starts to see what he had in you, not through the lens of loss, but through the undeniable realization that not everyone offers the same depth, warmth, and connection you did. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how powerful it is to step back and let someone come to their own realizations? That's exactly what's happening here. You're not in his face, trying to prove your worth. You've already done that by being your authentic self. Now, the contrast of his life without you is the loudest message of all. If this idea resonates with you, do me a favor. Like this video and comment number 1 below if you're starting to see the power of these insights. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter in understanding how to leave a lasting impression that draws him back to you naturally. Because trust me, we're just getting started. The next insight will take this even deeper, and you won't want to miss it. 3. Measures others against your standards. Imagine him sitting across from someone new. The conversation flows, easy, casual, but something feels off. She's nice, even interesting, but there's an undeniable void. It's in the way she laughs, not quite as full and contagious as yours. It's in her stories, not quite as layered with warmth and depth as the ones you used to tell. He smiles politely, but in his mind, a quiet comparison begins to take shape. This is when he starts to measure others against the standard you set, often without even realizing it. It's not about putting you on a pedestal, it's about the indelible mark you left on his life. Your unique qualities, the way you connected with him on a deeper level, have become his baseline. And as much as he may want to move forward, the echoes of your presence linger in the background, coloring every new interaction. Think about it. What makes someone truly unforgettable? It's not perfection. It's the quirks, the subtleties, the moments that felt so authentically you. Maybe it was the way you always remembered the little details about his life, the name of his childhood dog, the snack he always reached for when he was stressed. Or maybe it was your ability to challenge him, to push him to think differently, to grow. Whatever it wasn't generic, it was deeply personal. When he encounters someone new, the absence of those qualities becomes glaring. Sure, she might be beautiful or funny or accomplished, but she's not you. She doesn't have your humor, your energy, your way of making him feel like he was home. And the more he notices these differences, the more he begins to realize just how rare your connection was. Here's where the magic of stoicism and self-awareness comes into play. Stoicism teaches us to recognize the uniqueness of each person and to value what they bring into our lives without becoming overly attached. But here's the catch. When someone like you enters his life and makes such a profound impact, detachment isn't so simple. Your absence forces him to reflect, and in doing so, he starts to see the value of what he had. Let's dig deeper. Imagine he's out with friends and they're discussing relationships. One of his friends describes their partner's quirks, and it hits him he misses yours. The way you always had a habit of humming when you were concentrating, or how you'd leave little notes for him to find when he least expected it. These aren't just memories, they're imprints. And as much as he may try to push them aside, they surface with startling clarity when someone else tries to fill the space you left. This comparison isn't about fault or blame. It's about resonance. You resonated with him in a way that others don't. You made him feel something deeper, something more real. And as much as he might want to move on, he's now aware of how high the bar has been set. But here's the beauty of this realization. It's not something you need to engineer. You don't have to try to make him miss you or prove that you're unforgettable. Simply by being authentic, by showing up as your full, vibrant, unique self, you naturally created a standard that others will struggle to meet. This is the essence of Dark Stoic Psychology, understanding the power of your presence and letting it work in your absence. In time, he may try to rationalize his feelings. Maybe I'm just idealizing her, he tells himself. But the truth is, this isn't about idealization. It's about the genuine connection you shared and how that connection has now become his measure for what feels right. What's powerful here is the quiet inevitability of it all. You don't need to remind him of what he lost. His own experiences will do that for you. Every time someone else falls short, not because they're lacking, but because they're not you, he'll feel it. A subtle pang, a quiet longing, a realization that no matter how hard he tries to move forward, the shadow of your impact follows him. And that's the thing about leaving a lasting impression. It's not something you can fake or force. It's born from authenticity, from showing up in ways that are uniquely you. When you've done that, his world will inevitably be measured by the light you brought into it, and the absence of that light will be impossible to ignore. 4. Experiences disruptions in his routines. Picture his morning routine. The soft buzz of his alarm, the sunlight creeping through the blinds, and the quiet stillness of the day ahead. But something feels off. He reaches for his phone out of habit, only to realize there's no message from you. No good morning text with that little emoji that always made him smile. The rhythm of his day is just different. This is when he starts to feel your absence in the smallest, most unexpected ways. It's not the grand gestures he misses, it's the tiny, intimate details that were woven into the fabric of his everyday life. Those seemingly insignificant moments are now glaring voids, and with each one he's reminded of how deeply intertwined his life was with yours. Humans are creatures of habit. We find comfort in the familiar, the predictable, the things we can count on. And when you were a part of his routine, you weren't just another element, you were the highlight. Whether it was the way you'd always send him a quick thinking of you message during the day, or how you had a knack for knowing just when to call, you became a comforting constant in his world. Now, without you, there's a disruption. And that disruption doesn't just feel inconvenient, it feels deeply unsettling. Imagine him coming home from work, tossing his keys on the counter, and realizing there's no one to share dinner with. The silence of the empty space echoes louder than the sound of your laughter ever did. What makes this disruption so powerful is its subtlety. It's not a single dramatic moment that makes him miss you. It's the accumulation of little gaps, tiny reminders of what's no longer there. The goodnight calls that used to be the last thing he heard before falling asleep. The shared playlists that once accompanied his drives. The shared routines that grounded him. Each one adds to the weight of your absence. From the perspective of Stoicism, this disruption is a profound lesson in impermanence. The Stoics teach us that nothing in life is guaranteed, that everything is fleeting. While this can be a painful realization, it also serves as a powerful tool for reflection. As he navigates these disruptions, he begins to appreciate the depth and value of what you brought to his life. Let's consider this. When someone becomes part of your routine, they become part of your identity. You don't just think of them as a person, you think of them as a presence. They are the one who makes your mornings brighter, your evenings calmer, your days more connected. When that presence is gone, the loss feels not just emotional but almost physical. It's as though the world shifts slightly off its axis, and nothing feels quite the same. For him, these disruptions are more than just inconveniences, they're reminders. Reminders of how you made him feel, of the joy and stability you brought to his life. And the beauty of this realization is that it happens naturally. You don't need to orchestrate it or manipulate it. Life itself will show him the difference between a world with you and a world without you. Imagine this scenario. He's sitting on the couch, flipping through channels, and he stumbles upon the show you two used to watch together. He smiles at the memory of how you'd always guessed the plot twists before they happened. But then it hits him. You're not there to share the moment. What was once a shared experience now feels hollow. And just like that, he's reminded of the connection you shared. The key to this realization lies in the authenticity of your presence. When you're in his life, focus on being fully engaged, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Let your presence leave an imprint that's impossible to replicate. And when you're absent, let that imprint do the work. This is where the power of Dark Stoic Psychology becomes evident. You're not trying to make him miss you, you're simply allowing the natural void of your absence to speak louder than words. The disruptions in his routines aren't just inconvenient, they're transformative. They force him to confront what he had, what he lost, and what he now longs for. The more he feels these disruptions, the more he begins to appreciate the depth of what you brought to his life. And this appreciation doesn't fade, it grows. With every disrupted habit, every quiet moment, every unexpected reminder, your absence becomes a presence of its own. And in that presence, he finds himself longing for you in ways he never anticipated. 5. Notices your growth and success. Picture this. He's scrolling through social media late at night, absent-mindedly passing posts about vacations, memes, and dinner plates. Then he sees it, a photo of you. Maybe you're smiling, radiant in the glow of something new. A career milestone, a fitness achievement, or just a casual snapshot of you living your best life. It's not just the image that catches his attention, it's the story it tells. You're thriving, glowing, moving forward without him. And in that moment, something stirs deep within him. This is when he starts to miss you because he realizes you're not just surviving, you're evolving. There's a magnetic allure in seeing someone you once knew so well stepping into their power, unshaken and unstoppable. Your growth serves as a mirror, reflecting both what he's lost and what he could have been part of. Let's face it, success is attractive. It's not about flaunting wealth or achievements, it's about the confidence, resilience, and purpose that radiates from someone who's working toward their goals. When he sees you embracing opportunities and flourishing, it's a reminder of the vibrancy you brought into his life. He begins to wonder, was I holding her back? Did I underestimate how incredible she is? This moment of realization isn't just about you, it's about him. Your success forces him to reflect on his own life. What has he accomplished since you've been apart? Is he growing too? Or is he standing still, caught in the inertia of routines that now feel hollow? From a Stoic perspective, this is a profound lesson in accepting the natural flow of life. Stoicism teaches us that external achievements are fleeting, but internal growth is eternal. Your journey of self-improvement aligns with this principle, showing that you're not chasing success to prove a point. You're building a life of substance, meaning, and fulfillment. Here's the beauty of this realization. Your success doesn't just make him miss you, it makes him admire you. You become not just a memory but a benchmark. He sees your strength, your determination, your ability to rise above challenges, and he can't help but wonder if he ever truly appreciated what he had when he was with you. Now, imagine the ripple effect. He doesn't just see your success once. He hears about it through mutual friends, catches glimpses of it online, or stumbles upon it in casual conversations. Each time it reinforces the same thought: she's doing amazing without me. And while a part of him may feel proud, another part feels the sting of regret. But let's make one thing clear. Your success isn't about him. You're not thriving to make him miss you or to prove a point. You're thriving because you're focused on your own journey. This is where the concept of Dark Stoic Psychology comes into play. You're embodying strength, independence, and resilience, not to manipulate his feelings, but to live authentically. And that authenticity is what makes your success so powerful. Let me give you a specific example. Imagine he learns you've started a new project, maybe a side hustle, a creative endeavor, or a fitness challenge. He remembers the times you talked about your dreams, the late-night conversations where you shared your goals. Now, seeing you bring those visions to life without him hits differently. It's not just admiration he feels, it's a longing to be part of the journey. This isn't about flaunting or bragging. Your success speaks for itself. The way you carry yourself, the quiet confidence in your smile, the way you continue to evolve, it's all a testament to your strength. And it's impossible for him to ignore. So, let me ask you, have you ever noticed how captivating it is to see someone step into their potential? That's the power you're wielding here. And if this resonates with you, take a moment to like this video and comment number 1 below to let us know this insight hit home for you. Also, if you're ready to keep learning how to create meaningful connections and understand the deeper psychology of relationships, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You're not just growing individually, you're joining a community of people dedicated to mastering the art of relationships, self-improvement, and emotional intelligence. The next moment he'll miss you is even more profound, so stay tuned, you won't want to miss it. 6. Encounters loneliness. Picture him at the end of a long day. The house is quiet, the kind of silence that almost has its own weight. He's alone, sitting on the couch, scrolling through his phone, but nothing holds his attention. The usual distractions, social media, sports highlights, random memes, feel hollow tonight. In the stillness, something unexpected creeps in. Loneliness. Not the surface-level kind, but a deep, gnawing sense of absence. And in that void, his mind drifts to you. Loneliness has a way of sharpening memories. When he's surrounded by people, his thoughts are scattered. But in these quiet moments, everything narrows to one simple truth. He misses the connection he had with you. He misses the way you could turn his bad days into something manageable, the way your presence made even the simplest moments feel meaningful. What's powerful here is that loneliness doesn't just remind him of you, it magnifies the impact you had. Think about it. The nights you spent talking for hours, the way your laugh used to fill the space and make it feel alive. Now, that same space feels empty, and the contrast is impossible to ignore. From a Stoic perspective, loneliness isn't just a negative emotion, it's an opportunity for reflection. Stoicism teaches us to observe our feelings without being consumed by them, to use moments of discomfort to gain clarity. For him, this loneliness becomes a mirror, showing him what he truly values, what he truly misses. And what he misses is you. But this realization doesn't come all at once. Loneliness is a slow burn. Maybe it starts when he's sitting in traffic, thinking about the way you used to call just to check in. Or when he's cooking dinner and remembers how you always teased him about his signature dish. Or when he's lying in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, and the quiet becomes too loud to ignore. It's not just the big memories that haunt him. It's the small ones. The inside jokes only the two of you understood. The way you instinctively knew when something was bothering him, even when he tried to hide it. The feeling of being truly seen, understood, and accepted. These aren't things he can easily replace, and that realization stings. Now, let's go deeper. Loneliness has a unique way of distorting time. Minutes feel like hours, hours feel like days. And in that stretched out silence, the mind has space to wander. He might replay old conversations in his head, trying to remember the exact tone of your voice. Or he might scroll through old photos, searching for the details he once took for granted, The way you tilted your head when you laughed, the spark in your eyes when you were truly happy. But here's the thing. Loneliness isn't just about missing someone. It's about what that person brought into your life. For him, it's not just the absence of you, it's the absence of the emotions you evoked. The comfort, the joy, the sense of being cared for. It's the realization that without you, something vital is missing. And this is where Dark Stoic Psychology reveals its power. Your absence doesn't just leave a void, it forces him to confront the reality of his emotions. Stoicism teaches us to find strength in solitude, but it also reminds us of the value of meaningful connections. As he sits in his loneliness, he starts to understand just how much you added to his life, and how much he took that for granted. What's fascinating is how this loneliness transforms over time. At first, it feels like a simple longing, a passing thought of "I miss her." But as the days go on, it deepens. It becomes a yearning, an ache he can't quite name. He doesn't just miss the person you were, he misses the version of himself that only you brought out. The man who felt lighter, happier, more at ease in your presence. And here's the beauty of it. You don't need to do anything to create this feeling. You don't need to call him, text him, or remind him of what you had. The quiet will do that for you. His own heart will do that for you. And as the loneliness settles in, it becomes clear to him that no one else has ever made him feel quite the same. In these moments of solitude, your absence isn't just noticed. It's felt. Deeply, profoundly, in a way that shifts something inside of him. And as much as he may try to push it aside, to distract himself with work or hobbies or fleeting interactions, the truth remains. He misses you. And that loneliness, that ache, is the proof. 7. Realizes his mistakes. Picture him lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling as his mind races with thoughts he can't quiet. He replays moments from your relationship, the good, the bad, and the in-between. And suddenly, clarity strikes. He starts to see it, the little mistakes he made that seemed insignificant at the time but now feel monumental. The times he didn't listen when you needed him to, the moments he brushed off your feelings or let his pride get in the way. A wave of regret washes over him, not just for losing you but for realizing how much of that loss was his own doing. This is when he starts to miss you on a deeper level. It's not just about the memories or the good times, it's about the weight of his own actions, or lack thereof. The realization that he contributed to the distance between you hits hard. He begins to see how he could have been better, how he should have shown up for you in ways that truly mattered. The sting of realizing one's mistakes isn't immediate. It sneaks up on him in quiet moments, like when he hears a song that reminds him of a fight you had and how quickly it escalated because he wasn't willing to compromise. Or when he remembers how you always went out of your way to support him, but he rarely returned the favor. These realizations aren't just painful, they're transformative. From a Stoic perspective, this moment of self-awareness is critical. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of self-reflection and taking responsibility for one's actions. It's not about wallowing in guilt, but about learning from the past to become better. For him, this means acknowledging the ways he failed you, not to punish himself, but to understand what he lost and why. Think about the small ways this realization manifests in his daily life. Maybe he's at a family gathering, and someone mentions how patient you always were with his quirks. It sparks a memory of a time you let something slide that most people wouldn't have tolerated, all because you cared about him. Or perhaps he's out with friends, and they bring up how lucky he was to have someone like you. He nods and smiles, but inside he feels the sharp pang of regret, knowing they're right. What makes this moment so profound is the vulnerability it demands. Men aren't always encouraged to reflect on their feelings or admit their faults, but in your absence, he has no choice. There's no one to shift the blame to, no one to distract him from the truth. He's left alone with his thoughts, and those thoughts point back to you. But here's where the true power lies. This isn't just about regret, it's about growth. As he begins to recognize his mistakes, he also starts to see the lessons hidden within them. He realizes that he took your kindness for granted, that he underestimated your strength, that he failed to appreciate the depth of your love. And while this realization is painful, it's also a catalyst for change. This is where Dark Stoic Psychology plays a pivotal role. Your absence becomes a teacher, showing him the importance of accountability and self-awareness. Stoicism teaches us to embrace discomfort as a tool for growth, and for him, the discomfort of losing you becomes a powerful motivator. He starts to think about how he could have been a better partner, not just for you, but for himself. Imagine him sitting with a friend confessing, "I really messed up with her." It's not a dramatic outburst, it's a quiet admission, one that comes from a place of genuine reflection. In that moment, he isn't just mourning the loss of the relationship, he's mourning the version of himself that wasn't ready to value what he had. What's striking about this process is how it deepens his sense of longing. Missing you isn't just about wanting to see you again, it's about wanting a second chance to do things right. He doesn't just miss your presence, he misses the opportunity to prove that he could have been the man you deserved. And yet, this realization isn't something you can force. It has to come naturally, through time and introspection. The beauty of this moment is that it belongs entirely to him. It's not about what you say or do, it's about the space you've created by stepping back. In that space, he finds clarity, growth, and a profound understanding of what he lost. As he sits with these thoughts, he begins to understand a deeper truth. It wasn't just you he lost, it was a part of himself. The part that felt connected, cared for, and seen in a way he hasn't experienced since. And in that realization, the longing for you grows even stronger. Not just because of who you were to him, but because of the man he wanted to become with you by his side. 8. Encounters nostalgia through others' kindness. Imagine him at work, standing by the coffee machine, feeling the monotony of another day. A colleague offers him a cup of coffee, just a small gesture, no strings attached. He smiles, says thank you, but as he takes that first sip, a memory bubbles up. It's you handing him his favorite drink just the way he liked it, with that extra touch of thoughtfulness that made even the smallest acts feel personal. And just like that, nostalgia washes over him. Kindness has a way of triggering memories, especially when it mirrors the way someone made you feel. For him, it's not just the coffee. It's the little things you used to do, the way you'd check in to see if he was okay after a tough day, or how you always noticed when something was bothering him before he even said a word. These weren't grand gestures, they were quiet acts of care that spoke volumes. And now when he experiences kindness from others, it's not enough to fill the gap you left. This is when he starts to miss you in a way that feels almost involuntary. He's reminded of the depth of your connection, the way you made him feel seen and understood. Because here's the truth, not all kindness is created equal. What made your kindness so unforgettable was its intentionality. It wasn't generic or obligatory, it was thoughtful, specific, and deeply rooted in your understanding of who he was. Let's break this down through the lens of Dark Stoic Psychology. Kindness isn't just about the action, it's about the emotional resonance it creates. Stoicism teaches us to value meaningful connections over superficial interactions, and your kindness was exactly that, meaningful. It wasn't just about doing something nice, it was about the way your actions showed him he mattered. Now, think about how this plays out in his everyday life. Maybe a friend offers to help him move, and he remembers how you used to step in to make his life easier without being asked. Or perhaps someone compliments his outfit, and it reminds him of the way you'd always noticed the little details, like the tie he wore to that important meeting, or the jacket he picked for a night out. These small acts of recognition create a ripple effect, pulling him back to the memories of how you made him feel cherished. What makes this nostalgia so powerful is its unpredictability. It sneaks up on him in moments he doesn't expect, weaving its way into the fabric of his day. And the more he experiences kindness from others, the more he's reminded of how unique yours was. It wasn't just about the gestures, it was about the emotional safety and comfort they provided. With you, kindness wasn't a transaction, it was a connection. But let's take it a step further. This nostalgia isn't just about longing, it's about comparison. He starts to realize that while others may be kind, they don't have your touch, your warmth, your ability to make him feel like the most important person in the room. And that realization hits hard. He begins to see that your kindness wasn't just a nice to have, it was a cornerstone of what made your relationship so special. Now, here's the best part. You don't have to do anything to create this feeling. You don't have to remind him of your kindness or reach out to show him you still care. Life will do the work for you. The small, everyday gestures he encounters will naturally lead him back to the memories of you. And the more he experiences these moments, the stronger his longing for you will grow. If this insight resonates with you, and you're beginning to see how powerful this kind of emotional connection can be, take a moment to like this video and comment number 1 below. Your support helps us create more content like this, diving into the art of meaningful connections and the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insights into relationships, self-growth, and the psychology of attraction. We're building a community of empowered individuals who are ready to transform the way they approach love and connection. Stay with us, because the next chapter in this journey is just as eye-opening. You won't want to miss it. 9. Finds himself alone in social events. Picture him at a social gathering. The room is buzzing with laughter and conversation, friends mingling, and music playing softly in the background. But for him, there's an emptiness he can't quite shake. He's surrounded by people, yet he feels oddly disconnected. He glances around, and a memory surfaces, a vivid image of you by his side, making these moments brighter, easier, more enjoyable. This is when he starts to feel your absence most profoundly. Social events, especially the ones you used to attend together, are no longer the same without you. He misses the way you would light up a room with your presence, the way your laughter could dissolve any awkwardness, and how you always seem to know exactly what to say to put him at ease. It's not just about having someone to attend events with, it's about the unique energy you brought. You weren't just a +1, you were a partner in every sense of the word. Whether it was a casual get-together with friends or a formal celebration, you elevated the experience for him. Without you, these gatherings feel incomplete, like a song missing its harmony. What's striking about this realization is how it catches him off guard. Social events are supposed to be fun, a time to relax and connect. But instead, they become moments of reflection. He notices the empty seat beside him, or the silence where your voice used to be. He remembers the little things, how you'd whisper inside jokes during boring speeches or sneak a look across the room that only the two of you understood. This is where the subtle weight of your absence becomes undeniable. He may try to enjoy himself, but there's a part of him that keeps looking for you in the crowd, half expecting you to walk in and make everything feel right again. And when that doesn't happen, the contrast between then and now becomes sharper. From a Stoic perspective, these moments of disconnection are powerful opportunities for self-awareness. Stoicism teaches us to embrace solitude and to reflect on what truly matters. For him, these social events serve as a mirror, forcing him to confront the emotional impact of your absence. He starts to see how much you contributed to his sense of belonging, how your presence wasn't just comforting but transformative. Now imagine how this plays out in specific scenarios. Maybe he's at a dinner party and someone tells a story that reminds him of the way you used to tell yours, full of wit and charm, with a knack for making everyone laugh. Or perhaps he's attending a wedding, and during the slow dance, he's painfully aware that the space where you used to be is now filled with a void. What makes this realization so profound is its unpredictability. Social events are meant to distract, to pull people into the moment. But instead, they amplify what's missing. He's left not just with the memory of you, but with the unmistakable feeling that no one else has filled the space you once occupied. Over time, this longing deepens. The more social events he attends without you, the more he notices the difference. He begins to appreciate the way you could navigate these moments with such ease, how you made him feel seen and supported, and how you brought out the best in him in ways others don't. And here's the quiet beauty of this realization. It's not something you orchestrate. It's not about making him miss you or trying to remind him of what you had. The experiences themselves do the work. Life presents these moments naturally, and his own heart fills in the gaps with memories of you. As he sits in the middle of the crowd, surrounded by laughter that doesn't quite reach him, he begins to understand a simple but powerful truth. You didn't just add to his life, you transformed it. And now, without you, he feels the weight of your absence in ways he never expected. It's not just about wanting you back, it's about realizing just how much you meant to him all along. 10. Realizes her success sets a benchmark. Imagine him sitting with a group of friends, casual conversations buzzing around him. Someone mentions how well you're doing. Maybe you've started a new job, launched a creative project, or achieved a personal milestone. His mind drifts. He doesn't say much, but inside, a flicker of something stirs. It's not just admiration. It's an ache, a realization that you're thriving, and he's no longer part of that journey. This is when he starts to miss you not just as a person, but as a partner in potential. Your success becomes a quiet reminder of the life you could have shared. He thinks back to those late-night talks, the ones where you dreamed out loud together, imagining all the things you'd accomplish. Now, watching you move forward on your own, he begins to see the depth of what he lost. Here's the fascinating thing about success. It's not just about the accolades or achievements. It's about the way it changes how others perceive you, and how you perceive yourself. For him, seeing you thrive doesn't just make him proud, it makes him reflective. He starts to wonder if he underestimated you, if he took your potential for granted, if he didn't fully appreciate the force of nature you truly are. From a Stoic perspective, this moment is both humbling and enlightening. Stoicism teaches us to measure ourselves not against others, but against our own potential. In your absence, he starts to see his own stagnation. While you've been growing, pushing boundaries, and evolving, he's been standing still. And in that contrast, he begins to recognize the unique role you played in inspiring him. Think about how this realization might unfold. Maybe he sees a photo of you online, smiling with confidence, surrounded by evidence of your achievements. Or he overhears someone praising your work ethic, your determination, your ability to turn dreams into reality. Each encounter is like a small ripple, building into a wave of awareness. You're not just succeeding, you're thriving in a way that makes your absence even more profound. What makes this realization so powerful is its multi-dimensional impact. It's not just about missing your companionship, it's about missing the partnership you offered, the way you believed in him, challenged him, and pushed him to be better. Now, without you, he feels the lack of that dynamic energy, that spark that made him strive for more. Here's where Dark Stoic Psychology comes into play. Your success doesn't just stand as a testament to your resilience, it becomes a beacon that highlights what he's lost. Stoicism encourages embracing growth and self-mastery, and your achievements serve as a living example of these principles. Watching you succeed forces him to confront his own choices, his own growth, or lack thereof. What's more, this realization isn't fleeting. Success has a way of leaving a lasting impression. The more he sees you rising, the more he's reminded of the life you once shared. He thinks about the ways you supported him, encouraged him, and believed in him even when he doubted himself. Now, as he watches you channel that same energy into your own journey, he begins to understand the depth of your strength. Imagine him trying to move on, meeting someone new, someone who seems promising. But in the back of his mind, there's always a comparison, a subtle question. Does she have the same drive, the same vision, the same fire? And time after time, the answer falls short, because what you brought to his life wasn't just ambition, it was authenticity. This realization doesn't just make him miss you, it makes him admire you. It's a quiet, persistent awareness that lingers in his thoughts, shaping the way he sees you, and, by extension, himself. And while he may try to distract himself or move forward, the truth remains. You've set a benchmark, one that's not easily forgotten. So, as you continue to grow, remember this. Your success isn't just about proving anything to anyone, it's about becoming the fullest version of yourself. And in doing so, you naturally create an impact that resonates far beyond your presence. For him, that impact is a reminder of what he lost, and a testament to the strength and brilliance you embody. As we've journeyed through the moments when he starts missing you the most, one thing becomes crystal clear. It's not about superficial tricks or fleeting interactions. It's about the undeniable impact you had on his life, the way your presence made ordinary moments extraordinary and left a mark so profound that your absence speaks louder than words ever could. From the quiet solitude of his evenings to the bustling energy of social gatherings, your influence lingers. It's in the disrupted routines, the nostalgic triggers, and the subtle comparisons he makes without realizing it. It's in his realizations about his own mistakes and the way your success stands as a testament to the brilliance he lets slip away. These moments aren't random. They're the cumulative effect of the deep, authentic connection you shared. But here's the most empowering truth. You don't need to chase him, remind him, or prove your worth. The essence of Stoicism and Dark Stoic Psychology teaches us that true strength comes from within. By focusing on your growth, your happiness, and your authenticity, you naturally create a space where your presence and absence resonates powerfully. When he starts to miss you, it's not because you've played games or manipulated emotions. It's because you've been true to yourself, offering a connection that's impossible to replicate. He misses you because what you gave was rare. A mix of strength, warmth, and understanding that changed his life in ways he's only beginning to comprehend. Now, the question is, what will you do with this understanding? Will you continue to focus on becoming the best version of yourself, letting your authenticity shine and your presence leave a lasting legacy? That's the real secret to leaving an unforgettable impression, living with intention, grace, and self-respect. If this journey through his emotions has resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on the power you hold. And if you're ready to dive even deeper into mastering connections, growth, and emotional intelligence, let this be your starting point. Thank you for spending this time with us, for exploring these insights, and for choosing to invest in your own personal power. Remember, the art of connection isn't about trying harder, it's about being more present, more authentic, more true to yourself. Wishing you strength, wisdom, and a journey that leaves an unforgettable mark on those lucky enough to know you.